Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 14th of July 2021. Just sitting here downstairs today. It's a beautiful, warm day here. We just received a puppy, a beautiful Balinese dog. Balinese dogs are quite special. They have a very unique appearance, and it's actually evolved over many generations of dogs, and they've evolved into this very unique looking dog. And one of the or two of the primary characteristics of a Balinese dog is that they are smart and they're tough as hell. And so we had this beautiful little girl delivered this morning. She's about 9 weeks old. She's very sweet. I'll post some pictures in the service. You guys can have a look. She's very sweet, and she was named Saga, which is like an epic saga from the Viking days, because she has a bit of a story to tell. But she's very sweet, very sweet. And she's got these beautiful colors. I think they refer to this color as brindle, where you have kind of a brown and a black pattern kind of interwoven throughout the body, and kind of these tiger stripes down the backs of her legs. So she's very sweet. Anyway, but today we're going to talk a little bit about the buy and the sell zone robot. And while I do that, you might hear some kids playing in the background with a new dog. So my apologies for that. I hope it's not too much of a disturbance. We're just going to run through like a typical way to use buy and sell zones, and how I'm combining it with the other software to help me find really nice entry levels. Okay, so first of all, what is buy and sell zone? Well, it's an automated trading robot that I have actually developed many years ago as I was developing the Price Action Pro software, which is something I started writing in about 2010. And Price Action Pro evolved into the supply and demand software, where I removed all of the previous functionality, which was, it had a plethora of functionality. It included previous highs and lows, loads of different Fibonacci analysis, pivots from the minute to the yearly pivot, supply and demand, support and resistance, psychological levels, and then something called the price axis, which I also used back then, and it evolved into a more simple tool. And when I had this simpler tool, I wanted to try and identify the most beneficial combination of parameters. So I needed a tool that resembled the supply and demand software that I could run through the backtester in order to find the most profitable combination of parameters. And so the buy and the sell zones is essentially that, where it's a tool that takes the configuration options of the supply and demand software, runs it through the backtester, and then tells me which combination of parameters was most profitable. And those parameters go into the software as the default configuration. Okay, so that's how I'm actually getting the default configuration for the supply and demand software. So what it's doing is it's looking for essentially the same thing as we can see on the supply and demand software, where it's identifying errors of supply and demand, and if it likes them, it marks them on the chart. And so it was simply just trading the most recent one. So it would have traded this. It would trade this one now. It would have traded that. It would have traded this one, and so on and so forth, and this one, and all of these historically. And the cool thing about it is that after going back 10 years of back testing over, let's say, 10-20 different pairs, it would give me like a really nice combination of parameters that I could kind of synthesize, and which resulted in an optimal configuration parameter. And now the supply and software is pretty stable now. I've done the back testing many times historically, and I still do it now and again, but the default configuration of the supply and demand software now is pretty stable, so I don't fiddle with it too much. But the buy and the sell zone utility has evolved into this full-blown algo trader, and it trades pretty much the same way as we would using discretion, using the supply and demand software. Okay, and so what it's doing, it's simply looking at areas where we have nice releases according to the configuration parameters, like this one. So it's actually liking this one just here, and so it would like to trade here, and you can see that it's actually looking to trade just here. So if I was to click this on, I would just click it on like so, and it will put a buy limit here, the stop loss here, and the target would be somewhere else here at the beginning of this sell zone, which is quite nice. Okay, once it's done that, then the rectangle disappears. And the reason this is an interesting area is because on the daily chart, we had this really nice price inefficiency. So we had price moves low, we came high, we came a little bit lower, the wicks go lower here. So we actually have divergence as well. And then price left and we had a really strong day of trading. So that gives me confidence when buying down here. Okay, when price left here, we moved above these highs, these 4-hour closes, and now price is looking to try and revisit the origin of this move, which is where the algo decided to buy. You can see it positioned just here. And so looking on the hourly chart, you can't really see that this is actually a bullish day of trading and this is the origin of the move. And so what I sometimes like to do is put the X-ray software on the chart so that I can see this, and this helps me qualify entries at the buy and sell zone algo would like to enter. And if I don't see something like this, then I'm not going to allow it to trade. Okay, I'm just going to move this down so you can see as well the button here, so you can see when it's working. So now it's open the trade, switch it off, then I go to the next pair. Okay, and so then I just drag it over here. Let's go to the pound American dollar. Let's just look here on this chart. Actually, we're already there. That was the pound American dollar. Let's go to the next one, the dollar Swiss franc. Yeah, so here you can see that we are seeing something quite similar where we're having prices kind of form this base. We had a departure on the daily chart. We have some weekly accumulation candles here. Price broke down a little bit. We had a very strong bearish day here on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on Thursday of last week, and now we're looking to rebalance this price inefficiency that you can see just here. Currently price is testing the lows here, which we can probably see here. We go to the hourly or even the 4-hour. Yeah, so this is what we could see here. This is a price inefficiency, and this is price retesting that and becoming support, becomes resistance. And so looking at this, the robot wants to buy down here. If we zoom in a little bit, yeah, this is a decent release. We're on Monday, Tuesday. This is Tuesday. Price has rallied. And then we have the Wednesday here, and price is maybe looking to move a little bit lower off this area here. And so would I take that trade? I don't know if I'd take that trade. We've already tested this. If price had not yet made this move, but we took this one instead, which the robot would have shown, then I would have taken this because price was yet to revisit this area of support becomes resistance. We just tested this area here once, twice. Okay, so we're thinning out liquidity here. We formed this nice area of demand. We also have many things going for this trade as well, where we had kind of prices going like this, but the histogram is doing something very different and also telling us buy, 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 buy. It's telling us to buy, buy, and it stopped telling us to buy here. So when this was happening, the asset strength histogram was telling us to buy. Okay, so when price popped north, the robot would buy and sell zone would have marked this off for us, and this would have given us enormous confidence because we can see this happening as well. Okay, so that would have been a very interesting and a very useful way to combine the buy and the sell zone algo with the asset strength histogram. Okay, so let's have a look at the 4-hour chart and see what we have here. The 4-hour chart is doing the same thing. So if I click onto the 4-hour chart here, we're probably going to see something quite similar. Just let it update quickly. There it is, and it's still painting the hourlies in just a second. No, it's looking much lower. It's looking here. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, it prefers this one, as do I, because we have this one here. This is, if you focus on what we sometimes speak about, where you have two sides of the market. If you go to the color, we have the buy side and the high, and we do the other one, which is the sell side, which is red. Here we go from here to here. I mean, we're not allowed to buy here. Why? Because we're in the red side. We're only allowed to buy. We're only allowed to buy here and here, because this is in the green side. And this is important because this is demand. What you can see here is a reaction to demand. Okay, we had this price movement, price established the buy zone right there. This is where price came to. So we're only buying. Okay, and so buying here would be actually buying the child just here, which is, and this is a child because this is a reaction to something over here which we can't see on this time frame. Okay, but this was formed on the buy side, so this is a high confidence trade. So I wouldn't take this trade here for the reasons I just discussed. But what we can see here is that we can see something else going on. And we have this going on up here. So maybe on the higher time frame we have something forming at the top here. So what we could do is we could click on the 4-hour chart, sorry, the daily chart. I'll do that quickly and see if something happens. No, there's not a lot happening there. This is a pretty decent area here because we have the divergence going on here, but we do have as well price changing the color. Okay, so we want to be buying. I want to be buying lower. This is the trade. Okay, or selling up here. Selling up here at the sell zone, which is right there. Okay, so this is what we have. It doesn't mean you can't sell here. It just means in line with the major flows on the bigger time frames is we're expecting price to do something like this, come up to here, and then maybe go down again, or do whatever it's going to do. Okay, so always being mindful of where you are relative to the major flows on the daily and the weekly. This is just a really good idea. All right, so let's have a look on a slightly smaller time frame, sorry, a different symbol. Okay, so now we are on the Euro American dollar chart. Let's have a look. What's going on here? Let's have a look on the weekly, see where the flows are. So we have the euro being pushed lower by the American dollar. We could also see this on the American dollar Swiss franc pair that was moving higher. We spoke about this a long time ago. And you can see here that we started to see warning signs. So less steep slope on the peaks here than we can see in price. So this is liquidity exploration going on, and then price is slowly starting to break down, and you can see here that now we have alignment. Oops, we have alignment like this. Okay, so now we're testing the buy zone. There's something in here, so we'll see what happens there, and ultimately we have this down here. So I think if we went on to the weekly chart, the robot or the buy and sell zone would like to buy there, but let's see what's going on the 1-hour chart. Okay, on the 4-hour chart, it's liking this, as you can see. So if we click onto the 4-hour chart here, it's found some supply up here at the top. So this is the top of this. So if we click this on, we can analyze the trade. This is actually the release point of this week of selling. Okay, so we had the first week, second week, the third week of last month. Price sold off very, very aggressively. So we'll click that on. And it's not taking the trade because there's already a trade on. I think we're looking to buy lower. Yeah, so let's have a look at what that is. Let's go to the daily. Okay, so there's something here that it's preferring. Yeah, so this is the Euro US dollar. This is a 4-hour area of demand that it's liking. So if we go to the 4-hour chart here, zoom out just a little. We're not seeing on this time frame. Let's go to the daily and we can spot it. We can see it here, but this is pretty far away from price. So I'm going to remove this. Remove this. And you can see we have this one here, which is really nice. So I'm thinking, yeah, it likes this one up here. So let's see what the configuration difference is between the two, because you can see that it wants to buy here. But looking at this one, it likes this one. So let's have a look here at the configuration. Buy and sell zone, 2 and 2. These two parameters, so they have to be the same in the robot. Otherwise, we're going to get different results. We have 1 and 3, so 2 and 2. This is what we need to get the same results. So we'll let it update. And if we like the trade, which we do, judging by this, that's a delicious area. And I like that. So I'm going to say, okay, do your thing. So I flick it on, and now we're in. Okay. Okay, back to the small time frame. We'll continue. Let's do one more, and then let's see this one here. This is we've already seen that. Let's go here to the American dollar, Japanese yen. We'll see what's going on here. See, it really likes this down here, as you can see. So let's have a look and see what it looks like. What is it so fascinated about? What price level is that? It likes this down here, but that's pretty far away from price. Let's try something else. Let's try the 4-hour chart. Okay, and it likes this one down here. This one has just been tested. Look at the accuracy of the vast majority of these levels. I mean, this one here is just being tested. We had this one here, which saw a nice or small reaction. Price came through. This is the one that removed this one, so this is when we trade. We had this one here, beautiful test. We got about a 4-to-1 on that one. We have this one here, beautiful test, about maybe a 20-to-1 on that one, and it held 2 times. And this one here is beautiful because it's the beginning of the buy zone at the demand. So I like that one there. So I'll just tell the robot to do it. So it'll open the trade at this area here, right there. So we have a really nice wide stop, maybe a little bit too wide. But we'll leave it at that, okay? And then we'll see what happens. And so this is essentially what I'm doing. It takes a little bit of time because I like to kind of fiddle and adjust and ensure that I'm considering the macro perspective and the major flows. Yeah, and it's working pretty well. We have maybe 10 or 15 users on the buy and sell zone robot now. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the buy and sell zone channel on the server, and you can get people's feedback as to how they're doing and how they're using it, and the general kind of impression of the algo thus far. But it's a pretty nice tool. I have it running on VPS, running 24/7, and then it's doing it's risking 2 and it's winning 4, so a 1 to 2 risk reward, and it's nice and steady. It's not winning as much as I'd like it to, but due to the fact that we have a relatively advantageous risk and reward, it's in profits because over time it doesn't have to win as much. It just has to make sure that when we do get the trade correct, that our profit is far enough away that we can wipe out 2 historical losses. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But if you have any questions, please let me know. And if you have any input to a symposium for tomorrow or any other day this week or next week, please let me know. I'd be thrilled to hear from you. All right, thanks for watching.